It's time for this week's UpLift. 3 ordinary guys that want you to find the freedom that is available by knowing our Lord Jesus Christ. So sit back and enjoy UpLift, brought to you by the Fulcrum Center. Visit our site at thefulcrumcenter.org.
Hey, I like the hat.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's something new and different.
Yeah. And nice sweater you got on there.
Mm-hmm. I like llamas. See, I have
With
a cow.
green- With green shimmery glasses.
I know, right? It's not
And
every
light.
day. I know, and it's got this little scarf at the bottom.
You know, I
Merry
think I got a
Christmas.
scarf too. Look at that.
Man.
Yep, we're
like it.
twins.
Christmas lights.
Beautiful
I got a Christmas
sweaters.
tree
Oh,
on
Chad,
my
it's
arm.
okay. Don't feel so left out.
I know, I do. I do. I'm going to get a complex over this.
But I love the hat.
Oh, yeah, see, that accents my lack of,
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
Festivus.
Yeah. The feats of strength. Is that what's next?
Well, as you can't tell, we are having our Christmas special for UpLift.
Yeah.
And I'm Phil Bliss.
I'm Ian Thornton.
I'm Chad McLeish.
Thank you for joining us tonight for UpLift.
Yeah, and if you can't watch us on video, well, count yourself blessed.
Yes.
But
We are wearing a couple ugly Christmas sweaters and a nice Christmas hat.
yeah, I called it a done self hat.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But we're going with it. We're going to have fun.
Yeah. Yep.
So I got to thinking earlier this week, guys, with Christmas coming up, what is your favorite gift you ever got for Christmas?
A favorite gift.
Your favorite gift you ever got for Christmas?
I'd have to give that a lot of thought.
Okay, well,
It
I'll go
is.
first while you're thinking.
Okay.
Okay? Mine was, well, it's one of two things. One was the Death Star. What a great topic for UpLift.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Perfect.
from Star Wars. This was like in 1980, I think it was, and Star Wars came out in 77, 78. And the Death Star was it was about 3 feet tall, so it was probably a little bit shorter than me at the time. And it was a cutout, it was a triangle. And, you were like looking at the inside and you saw all the different floors. And you could see where Princess Leia and Luke swung across the rope, and you could actually take the action figures and attach it to the rope and make them swing back and forth when the floor disappeared. And you can make Ben Kenobi go all the way to the top of the Death Star and turn off the tractor beam. And then they get thrown into the garbage pit, and there was a monster in there in the garbage pit. And it was just a lot of fun. And I didn't even ask for it.
Wow.
But because I was such a big Star Wars fan back then, my grandmother bought it for me. And I had a lot of fun with that. I always wanted the Millennium Falcon to go with it, but never got it. But then when Empire Strikes Back came out, I wanted the Walker, the AT-AT Walker. But that was like $200. And can you imagine $200 in 1983 or whatever when that came out? Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe earlier. Yeah, that was probably $500 today for me.
Wow.
So yeah, that was one of my favorites. And then the second one, we got a family gift one year from my other grandmother and grandfather, was a Commodore 64. And I think that was in 1984. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, or 83, probably 83. But because of that Commodore 64, I decided I wanted to be a software developer when I grew up.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So I did. Yeah.
Huh.
So I went to college for it, and that's what I've been doing for 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm showing
But
my
who's
age.
counting?
Yeah, who's counting, right? Here's the 30 more.
Right. Right.
But see, I got a Commodore 64 one year for Christmas as well, which, I have 2 categories. One, after being married, and one as a kid.
Okay.
My favorite gift of being a kid would probably be video games, Commodore 64. But see, it didn't make me want to be a programmer per se, but rather a professional video game player at that age. It's like, man, I found the perfect job. I can just play video games for a living, which I'm sure there's people that do that.
Oh, yeah.
But, unfortunately, I wasn't good enough to make the cut. But I do also remember getting a Commodore 64 for Christmas one year.
Did you have the cassette player with it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had the cassette
great.
player.
Yes.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like people now are probably thinking like, what are they talking about? But yeah, so on the Commodore 64s, the storage, you didn't have a hard disk drive like we have
Right.
today or any of that stuff. There was no USB thumb drives or anything. They had an actual like audio cassette player that plugged into it, but it was the programming was stored on the cassette, and you would fast forward, and it had like a number counter on it, like an old fashioned like an odometer on a car. And you had a list of programs and games and stuff, and like if you wanted to play a certain game, you would fast forward the cassette or reverse it to the number, and then you'd push play on that. You had to time it, like you had to type a command line thing, and then you pushed play on the tape, and then you hit enter or whatever, and it would all do whatever. But it took like a few minutes to load, and yeah, but. You know, in the 1980s, that was really cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I actually made a skiing game. The letter H was the guy skiing, okay? And he would move back and forth, and there was X's on the sides.
Yeah.
Or maybe I used T. I think I used T for tree, and that was like a tree. So it was like a slalom, and it was basically you just had to keep the H within the scrolling, and it was the same pattern over and over, so you could learn it real quick, but I wasn't sophisticated enough to make a dynamic pattern for
You
it.
had to use
but,
your imagination.
I probably could have, but I was just excited to get the H to move back and forth. But I wrote a basic program, and I mean programming language of basic, not a basic program, to do that. It was pretty cool. That's when I knew this is what I want to do. Actually, I told my dad, I want to make video games so that someday when I meet Chad, he can play them. But no, I did tell my dad that when I grew up, I wanted to make video games, and I didn't make, other than that one, I didn't really make any other video games, but do make software. So.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite? What was your favorite gift as a kid, Chad?
Well, the Commodore 64
Oh.
or all the video game systems I got, because you know, like the older you got, you know, of course there was the Nintendo and then the Sega Genesis and all that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the video games. But you know, I was thinking about this earlier, and it's funny because I actually had to stop and think. But all the first things that came to mind were stuff that I bought Kathy, the stuff that I bought for her. I actually really had to think hard about things. I mean, I love my parents. I mean, I had a great relationship with my parents growing up, but I really had to stop and think about the stuff that they bought me. But the things that stuck out were the things I bought for Kathy, because
That's awesome.
now as an adult, that's the stuff that it's like it gave me joy to buy those things for her.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure when I was, 12 years old, like I was super pumped about all that stuff that my parents bought me.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of funny how, do you guys feel that like you now as an adult remember the stuff you bought your kids or whatever?
Yeah. When the kids ask me, what do you want for Christmas? Like, I don't want anything. I just want you to show up and I'll give you something. I don't want anything from them. I want to give to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to hang out and spend time with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Don't you?
Other than the list that I supply, every one of them what I want for Christmas. Yeah, I enjoy spending time with them. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. It is. It really is that. It's interesting that transition to go from giving our lists, so to say, to our parents and stuff, to be able to ask others and to be able to do for others. It's a neat transition. Mm-hmm. Really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember my son, 5 or 6 years old, so excited. He got these, I don't know, they were like Legos, I guess, but giant, like Legos. And he would build these big towers. And my youngest, who couldn't even talk at the time, she'd just walk by and she'd go like that and knock it over. And he would get so mad. But it was in between laughing and saying, no, don't do that, Julia. But it was so funny because he spent so much time on it, and she just, and it would go over. Just a sleight of the hand, and there it would go. And I don't know why I find that funny now, but I guess you had to be there to see it, but
Well, see, the bad thing for me is I was the youngest of a whole brood of children, kind of like the Thornton household.
There you go.
But I was the youngest one, so by the time it was my turn to get all the cool stuff, my brothers and sisters ruined it all.
oh yeah,
Like, there was no dirt bikes. They ruined that. There was no drum sets or musical instruments. They ruined that. And Dad had rules about certain toys because, like my sisters, like he got them something one year and they left him on the floor and he stepped on him and he hurt his foot. And it was like, nope,
Yep.
no more of that.
Yep. Yeah.
So by the time they were happy to get me video games because it's like, oh, and by the way, plug your headphones in. This was before Bluetooth, like they didn't have Bluetooth in the 1980s. So he was like, they bought me headphones and like, oh, Chad's just over there, with his headphones on, being quiet.
Yeah. Well, as the oldest, I can relate to that because my brother, who's 14 years younger than me, got a bunch of video games for Christmas.
You ruined it.
I ruined it for him.
Did you get
Sorry,
a dirt
Adam.
bike?
I'm sorry?
Did you get a dirt bike or anything like that?
I didn't, but
You were too busy playing with your Death Star.
yeah. But he never got anything like that. Probably because of the little pieces that got left on the floor.
That's
that my
right.
dad stuck
Yeah, so you probably ruined it and you didn't even realize it until I
Yeah.
just brought it up. That's great.
That is funny.
I know one thing he never got was the super toe where you hit the guy's head and it kicked the ball because we kind of broke a window once. So my youngest brother never got that. So.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Alrighty, and so now it's your turn.
Oh, mine. Let's see. As a kid, well, I'd have to say more of a teen, early teens, was a 1983 Honda Big Red three-wheeler.
Oh,
Oh,
a three-wheeler.
my.
Yes.
Oh, and you're still alive. And you still have all your
I
arms and
think,
legs.
well, yeah, I do. They don't work quite the way that they should. But yeah, that was just,
Wow.
and I think for me, it was, your video games where, go plug your headphones in and Chad's over there being quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was more like getting in a three-wheeler, go ride in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So away from the house,
Yeah.
Yeah.
completely away.
Yeah.
But it was, man, that was
That's
the
awesome.
best thing, man. I loved it. I just loved it. It was super dangerous.
Yeah, for
Oh,
people,
yeah.
I was going to
It's a
make that comment. For
three-wheeler, yeah.
people who, it's not a four-wheeler.
Right.
No.
It's like super easy to go head over handlebars.
Yes.
Flip,
It
roll.
really is. It is a tricycle with a huge motor on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and there's a YouTube channel that I watch because, with old cars and stuff. And there's this guy up in Canada, and he's got 50-some old cars, and he lives on this big compound. And he has a Honda Big Red three-wheeler.
There you go, man.
Oh, wow.
And he still uses it to pull cars around.
Well, you know what? It was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was looking for one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man,
Big, thick tires.
Big
and-
tires.
Yeah.
man,
I
just
remember those.
huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was, man, a lot of fun and a lot of, oh my word, stories that come with that thing. But kids were just talking about the kids the other day about what not to do. But it was a lot of fun. I loved it.
Have you guys ever heard of Mark's Toys? MARX?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, 'cause they don't make those anymore, but
Well, those were made right down the river here.
were they really?
Right across the river in Glendale.
Yeah.
No
Right.
kidding. I
Yeah,
did not know
there's
that.
Isn't there a museum?
Oh, yeah. The plant was almost right across the river here.
Because they had a plant in Ashtabula too.
Oh, okay.
Because my mom's cousin worked at it, and therefore we got a lot of Mark's Toys discounted.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was a manufacturing plant that they had
Yeah.
there. They had something because she was getting all kinds of toys, maybe a distribution center or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, those were some good toys there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Yeah, I was big into Hot Wheels and
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff and those things. But man, it was just really great. But I just remember, but I just also remember like the whole Christmas morning and just that whole atmosphere of everything and just the way it's set up and that's one of the things that Julie and I have really just tried to bring into our family is just to set the stage. So there's a specific breakfast that we have, and there's a way that we go about doing this thing, and it takes us all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it just because we start in the morning. We start with stockings, and we do the stockings. Everybody goes around and opens their stockings, and then we take a break and we go do breakfast, which is huge. And then by the time breakfast is done, then we go back into doing presents and opening up presents. And we just kind of all sit around in a circle and everybody opens one and then the next person and the next person. So that by that time, it's like mid-afternoon. And then doing lunch and stuff. But it was just that tradition. And even now, the kids just start talking about Christmas morning and what that looks like and what they want to do for breakfast and just all that kind of stuff. So it's really a neat tradition that we've just always put together, that creating that morning atmosphere, just being together.
Speaking of kids, I don't remember what year it was, but we got the kids the one year we got a Wii game system, and then the following Christmas we got the Rock Band. With the drums and the guitars and the microphone. And we set it up the night before. 4 o'clock in the morning, I hear. I'm like, what is that? And I went, oh, I know what that is. So I go downstairs, and sure enough, there's my 2 oldest sitting. One's playing on the drums, the other's strumming a guitar. I'm like, kids, it's 4 o'clock.
Go back to bed.
By this time, it was, look what Santa left today, because they were older, so. But my youngest still believed in Santa. I said, go back to bed so that you don't ruin it for Julia. Yeah. Well, she probably didn't believe, but she made believe she did. But anyway, we couldn't get them to go back to sleep. And I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning that morning. And
there you go.
I was sleeping probably by 2 or 3 that afternoon. So.
That's funny.
Yep.
It is. It's good. It's really, it is a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. Creating memories.
I remember I'm putting myself on the spot. I hope I get the year right. I think it was 1997. I proposed to Kathy and gave her an engagement ring on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, okay.
Because we always do our Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
We go home from church. We do our Christmas thing, Kathy and I. We do our Christmas thing, and then, Christmas morning we just do whatever. But, so we do ours on Christmas Eve after
neat.
church.
Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah. So, I proposed to her on that.
Look at you.
Oh, I'm special.
You are, man.
I hope you got that year right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm
it
sure
was.
she knows.
Yeah, she did. I'm pretty sure that's right. Do you remember what year we got married?
Okay, that's good. You remember what day?
Yes.
Okay, that's
yes,
good.
I do.
That's good.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Oh man, great memories.
Yeah, but it's funny though. Like I just really I struggle to remember the gifts I got when I was younger. Because it's like I remember having fun and with Christmas morning and all that sort of thing. And I remember now that I think about it, I remember different years getting different stuff. But it's just like I remember. I can almost remember all the big stuff I've gotten for her and like for other people, my mom and stuff.
Yeah.
Parents, whatever. But yeah, it's like I really enjoy giving people gifts. Yeah. And that's what sticks out. Yeah,
I definitely have grown into that too. I mean, when I was a kid, obviously I couldn't wait, but as I got older and just I wanted to be the one giving, not receiving. And because Ian's here like, I want the gift.
Yeah.
I know.
Ian's like, I want snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles,
I've been trying to work on my gift of receiving.
I know somebody who got a purple shirt one year, and I never saw it again.
Yep.
Oh,
that would be me.
But it was a joke. I got him a purple shirt because he was a pastor in Bel Air, and it was purple for Martins Ferry. And then you ended up living in Martins Ferry.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a prophetic thing there.
I know. I wear it when I cut my grass.
Right
that's
after you
great.
cut the
I love
sleeves
it.
off.
That's right. Oh my
Great.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And change the oil in your truck.
I know.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, it's now black.
Funny.
Yeah.
So my dad had a saying. Every year at Christmas, we'd get up. We'd go in and say, Mom, Dad, get up. He's like, go make the coffee. I'll be up in a few minutes. I don't know how to make coffee. Well, I'm not getting up till there's coffee. And I'm like, Mom, will you make the coffee? Of course, Mom would get up and make the coffee, and Dad was like, oh, come on, I wanted to stay in bed a little longer. Seeing that, I'll make the coffee when I get up, but I'm not getting up at 6 or 7 a.m. when I wanted to get up. So that's what he was trying to say. But I tried to do that with my kids, and one year I got a coffee pot that automatically made the coffee. They were a step ahead of me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's neat watching the kids grow up and stuff. It's like, even our kids just last week, they were like, when can we go Christmas shopping? And it's just like, they just want to go. They want to go as a group.
Yeah.
And they want to just, and that's fun. That's fun to watch and watch them pull all that together and, do those things. But I'm watching our olders that change that we're talking about, that transition.
Yeah.
Them going, wow, I really want to get so-and-so this or this person, that kind of stuff. And so I'm watching this whole thing change and just remembering what we've gone through.
Right.
And it's neat. It's neat to watch and to know that that they're wanting to give. And, it's just like,
That's good.
it is.
That means you raised them well.
Yeah, because there's a creativity to it.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's like, and the beauty is they're at the age where they have that, know. Like the rest of us, like it's to the point now with us in our relationship with my wife and I, it's like we just get whatever we want, and especially in this day and age, it's like, oh, I need this. You go on Amazon or whatever website, and it shows up 3 days later in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we don't even know what to get each other anymore because it's like, oh, I already bought that. It's like, so it's kind of funny. It's hard. It's actually difficult now to find something that, they haven't already bought for themselves or whatever,
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Do you guys decorate your house?
We put lights on our house, yeah.
I'm not the Griswolds. No. I used to be.
Really?
Yeah, I used to. Yeah, at our own house, I used to decorate, and we had a pine tree in the front yard, and I would decorate it. I would decorate it with tons of lights, and I made like fake boxes underneath and lit them up, and all that sort of thing. I wasn't quite as bad as the Griswolds, but yeah, I used to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I've toned it down from what we had before, but we have a porch, and you can, it's kind of like an open porch, so we put lights around it, and then around the picture window and around the door, and it's not a lot, but
Okay.
there was one year we had the Santa Claus light, the spotlight thing, and we had blow up trees and a reindeer, and we had all kinds of stuff in here. It was the Griswolds, but we've really toned it back since then.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, I do.
Are you Clark?
Not that bad, but I really enjoy it. I do, man. I get out like it's like our house. We have that wraparound porch and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we've got garland that's kind of streaming around the porch and then up the poles, and everything's lit up, and icicles hanging down, and wreaths on all the windows. So I'm like, climb out on the roof and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's I think it's honestly more entertaining for the neighbors. At least when I'm climbing on the roof. That's entertaining.
Yeah.
So
$5 as he falls
well,
off.
no, it's like all of a sudden the neighbors show up with like cups of coffee, and they're standing on the
really? Okay.
sidewalk, and they're kind of just waiting for that slip and
Yeah.
but it's a lot of fun. I love it. I do, man. I really love
That's
just
cool.
decorating it all up.
Yeah.
Man. Garland around the front doors, all the the doors and all that stuff.
Yeah, you have a great front porch for that.
Yeah.
Your porch
It is.
great.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. And I'll just, Ian Thomas and I are out there just, and I think that's that's probably the really the biggest thing is that spending time out there with the kids and John out there and, and just doing all kinds of stuff and hanging ornaments from the garland that's hanging around the front porch and that kind of stuff too. Just making it more just that family thing. And so then it always goes to, so Dad, what are we doing next year? Or we need to do this. So now they have these ideas of, okay, well, let's do this next year, this day. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? So, but it is. I love it. I really enjoy it.
That's awesome.
I remember being a kid, and there was always this thing of how do we keep the tree alive? Because we always had a live tree. My dad was so big, Dad would never settle for an artificial tree. So we always got a live tree.
Yeah.
And it was always like this chemistry set concoction thing of all the different. I remember them
great.
putting aspirin in it.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
somebody said some of the.
yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, you
Yep.
put aspirins in it and sugar and maple syrup and Tylenol or something.
Put maple syrup in it. That's pretty good.
They'd read this stuff, or people would tell each other, "Oh, I tried this and I tried that." So it was always funny to to sit there and watch and see oh, what's mom and dad going to put in this? Put in the water in the tree this year,
Yeah.
And it would never fail. Like the week after Christmas when it's time to take the tree down, all the needles are on the floor and.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh my.
And I just crack up laughing.
Well, we got a kitten this year, and I said it's not going to be long before the kitten's in the tree. And I'm sitting on the couch one night, and I hear rustling. I look over, and the kitten just pops its head out from near the top of the tree. I'm like, okay. And then he jumps, and he lands on a end table. I'm like, oh, my goodness, this thing is going to be... So we may be getting a new tree next year because it's kind of beat down at the bottom from the kitten.
Oh my. Yeah, I remember when as our kids were littler, putting all the ornaments on the tree and stuff, but only the top third of the tree had ornaments. Because if you put them towards the bottom, then they're coming off somewhere and somebody's going to throw one or something. Yeah. So it's like you have this big tree and then all of a sudden it's just just the top third has the ornaments on it.
Yep.
That's funny.
I remember when I was a kid, my aunt, she had these lights on her tree that bubbled. And it was these.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, they were like these. They were sort of like candles, but they weren't candles.
Yeah.
But they were filled with colored liquid, and they would bubble. It was like little miniature, sort of like lava lamps.
But
I mean, it was a 1970s thing, I'm sure. But it was man, when I was little, I remember just being mesmerized, and I always used to want to go over to their house and sit and watch them. It was funny. Yeah. But we don't do nearly as much now. Kathy puts out her nativity. We put out a few wreaths. We have a little tree, and At some point, it became more about the food.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with Tanya.
After being married 15, 20 years or whatever, it's so what kind of lasagna are we going to have?
Do you do a Christmas lasagna? What do you do?
Yeah, that's what we're doing this year.
Oh,
Because we're just kind of turkeyed and hammed out. So we all agreed, we go over to my mom's house. So we all were pumped up about a lasagna. So mom's baking a lasagna this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
How about you
awesome.
guys? Do you have any traditions?
Yes. Tanya makes enough food for an army, and no army has ever showed up. But one of these years they're going to, and then we'll have plenty of food for
Well,
them.
it sounds like we were invited, right?
I know, right?
Yes, please. So I'm not eating it 5 days later.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, we will do usually ham.
Yeah,
Ham
we
and
have ham.
that kind of thing too. Thanksgiving is when we do things very different. But for Christmas, it's always ham and just standard stuff
Yeah.
along those lines. But it's but the breakfast though is homemade cinnamon rolls and bacon and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, what's the point? You can't really you're not even ready to eat lunch. But
My stomach's growling
we
now.
eat it anyway. I know, it's just amazing. She does this maple icing on the cinnamon rolls. It's amazing.
You're getting hungry thinking about it, aren't you?
I am. I'm like, what time? What is today?
Years ago, my entrepreneur child, my oldest, decided she was going to make this bread. It was like a caramel nut braid, I think is what she called it. But it's a braided bread. You make it in 3 sections, and then you braid it and you bake it. It starts out real tiny, and it becomes huge when it bakes. So she would sell them for $10, $12, I can't remember. She made a ton of money on them. So she did that for several years, but that became like a tradition to eat on Christmas morning because it was so good. And it was usually gone by Christmas night. But just a side note, she made so much money, she bought a set of golf clubs with the money she made because that was her fundraiser to support her golfing because she wanted to get a golf scholarship for college, which she did get.
Wow.
So, yeah, it
So
all
she
paid
was
off,
really
but
making bread.
She was making the
She
bread,
was making
yes.
some dough.
Right.
Do you still get bread? Does she still make bread for you?
When you said something about what you make, I said I'm going to ask Caitlin to make that for me this year because she's home. She's still in pharmacy school, but she's home for December. So
There you go.
Might cost me $50, but but it would be worth it though because it was good.
That's
it is
neat.
very good.
That's really neat.
Yeah. So.
Or you could just buy her golf clubs.
Well,
But then you don't get the bread.
that's true. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I
Well, you
want
could
the-
trade her golf clubs for the bread, maybe.
that-
Like a gift exchange.
I got to make sure you
Yeah.
don't talk to her because she would go for that. And
Yeah.
she doesn't want some cheap Walmart set. She would want the really good ones. So.
Oh, you could do that. It's Christmas.
Yeah, you were just telling us how much you love to give gifts.
That's right.
Boy, I hope my kids don't watch this.
I hope they do.
Me too.
I got her email address.
Oh man.
Very
Well,
good.
guys, this has been great
It has
reminiscing and sharing traditions but ultimately we know what the real reason is and that is great too. But I'm just so glad that we can have these stories, these memories to talk about because God would want that for us, I believe. He doesn't want us to fall into religious strongholds, but at the same time to enjoy the celebration of the birth of his son. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and it's there's a lot of people that really struggle through the holidays.
Yeah.
And it's just the time of year. There's so little sunlight and so little daylight and all that sort of thing. And then people have thoughts of family members and friends and things that
that's
aren't
right.
here anymore and that sort of thing. And it goes back. I'm going to go back to your soccer ball, Phil.
Okay.
Phil preached about joy, and he had a soccer ball, and he was demonstrating that like that joy, that soccer ball. You could stand on the soccer ball, and the soccer ball can take it. The joy of our relationship with God, and being thankful for His Son Jesus and all that. And I'm going back to that soccer ball. So like if people are out there are really depressed or struggle through the holidays, think of Phil's soccer ball and really seek the joy. Purposely, aggressively go after the joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are things that you can do. You can volunteer. You can buy gifts for other people. There's all sorts of things that you can do, and you can surround yourself with people. You can make new friends, and we're never alone. Even
Absolutely.
when we're alone, we're never alone.
Absolutely.
So you got to keep that joy strong, and you got to
That's
hold
right.
strong onto that joy, because that will carry you through.
Absolutely. I should have let you do the message this past week. That was good.
Well, I just piggybacked off your soccer ball, but it was so funny. I do have to throw this in. So Phil takes this big clear plastic bag, and it's full of air. It's just and he's demonstrating the difference between happiness and the soccer ball, which is joy. And he stomps on the bag, and it pops, and people were startled, And it is so funny because Phil's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it to be that loud."
It was a lot louder than I expected.
I know, it was so funny because I think Phil even shocked himself in that moment. So it was,
I even jumped.
it was funny, but it was a great demonstration because happiness is fleeting and joy
Can be destroyed. Yeah.
yeah. So
Or joy cannot be destroyed. Happiness can be. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So just remember Phil in a soccer ball.
Yeah.
Go after the joy.
I did not actually stand on the soccer ball. I would
Oh.
have broken an elbow or something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Well, I'm glad that you got something out of that, Chad.
I'm sure everybody did after you woke
yeah.
them up by bursting their bubble.
That might have been very effective, actually.
It was. You woke them up and they heard what you were saying, and it was good.
All right. Well, that's about all the time we've got for tonight. So, Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Yeah.
to all of you.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, and we'll be back here next week, probably to talk about New Year's, huh?
Ah.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll hear what really happens to the Bliss household.
That's right.
We'll hear about the Thornton household, but we really want to know what's going on with the Death Star on New Year's Eve.
Oh my goodness! All right, everybody.
Merry Christmas.